What up, y'all? What up? It is Sunday. I normally do it on Saturdays, I know, but this is a special weekend. It's actually Royal Rumble weekend, so they had the Royal Rumble early. So if they would have had it at night, then I would have actually done the regular recording on Saturday. But since it was early yesterday, I figured, why not watch it and give my review on Sunday? So that's what we're doing. It's also Super Bowl Eve. Super Bowl is next weekend. The Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. Who you got? um, well, let's get into it. Yeah, so next weekend, Super Bowl. Um, Me personally, I'm going to just put it out there. I am going to be actively cheering for the Seahawks. Why? I know you say, "Oh, well, you're a Rams fan and you should hate them because they beat you." Um, I know that they broke my heart, but there's still some ties there. You still got Cooper Cup, um, who was on the Rams when they won the Super Bowl, who actually was instrumental in getting the Rams their Super Bowl ring. So thank you, Cooper Cup. And Sam Darnold, the quarterback, who is the first, get it, the first quarterback drafted from USC to go to a Super Bowl. So, and then, yeah, I hate Boston. So that's the other part of that. So, um, yeah, so that's gonna be next weekend. Like I said, I will be actively cheering for the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks, and like objectively, I think the Seahawks are the better team. There's no doubt that out of the two best teams out of the four that were left, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Rams, Seahawks. Rams and the Seahawks were 1A and 1B, interchangeable. I do think the Rams were the better team, and we'll get into that. So, what are you going to do? Let's talk Super Bowl parties real quick. Are you going to a Super Bowl party? Are you going to stay home and watch it? Me personally, I will be in my home away from home, Las Vegas. So I'll be, getting into something there. And, so when it comes to Super Bowl parties, let's talk food. I love to talk about food. If you can't have, let's say you're either throwing a Super Bowl party or you're going to a Super Bowl party and you can't have wings and you can't have pizza. Wings and pizza are not available. What's your next go-to? My next go-to, personally, tacos, because once you get past the rice or once you get past the meat, the rice and beans are really really cost effective. So big pail of rice and a big pot of beans, and you know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong. Carne asada, pollo. For the pork lovers, you got carnitas. So, and pork is actually, pretty cheap too. So, you can't go wrong there. Um, in case you want to liven up your party, if you're throwing one or going to one, you can suggest this to the host. Here's a game that you could play. It's like the Super Bowl. It's gonna almost be like the Super Bowl squares, but you're gonna draw numbers. So what you got to do is you got to put numbers 0 through 9 in some kind of on paper, and then separate them into separate pieces of paper. Put them into some kind of hat or some kind of bowl, and have people draw numbers, right? 0 through 9. And so at the end of each quarter, or even at the commercial breaks, you add up the score, and whoever has the last digit to the right has to do something. Like, let's say the score is 7-7 and at the first commercial break. So that would make the score added together 14, right? So the last digit to the right would be the 4. So whoever has number 4 has to do something, like take a drink if you guys are drinking. If you guys are, not drinking, maybe do a dare, maybe do a truth or dare. That person has to, do something stupid, or, just to kind of liven up your party, um, or have a raffle, if you want to, or if you want to do it for money, charge people, like the squares, charge people, $1 just to make it fun, $5 depending on how, your crowd. You could do it for money, but that's a fun game that you could play at your Super Bowl party, liven it up. So anyway, back to wrestling. It's Royal Rumble weekend. We start on the road to WrestleMania. And man, I thought, well, I would say I thought long and hard about it, but it didn't take me too long to figure out how to approach this. I was like, okay, the Royal Rumble was just yesterday. Or if I announce what happened, or report, I should say, what happened, am I spoiling it? And I was thinking to myself, well, ESPN doesn't hold back the scores or the highlights of the games that just happened same day even. So it's like when the Lakers play, they don't wait till everybody watches the replay of the game to, announce the score or show highlights. They're a sports broadcasting network. They're a sports reporting network. This is a wrestling reporting podcast. So yeah, I'm going to talk about it. So if you are going to watch it later and don't want it spoiled, then you can fast forward to best week or to the top news. But anyway, so this year's Royal Rumble, I loved it. This was very top heavy. There was no real lack in star power. Just about everybody in it was a potential winner or up and comer. And I like that. And so, like when you have the big guys come out, like Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, Damian Priest, like the bigger guys who could just toss guys over, that didn't happen because now you have the smaller guys who are more skilled. And, they're not just going to be an easy toss out, just like some jobber. So, like I said, it was filled with talent. So normally in the past with the Royal Rumble, it was so top heavy. I shouldn't have said top heavy before. I should say the past Royal Rumbles were so top heavy with only like a couple stars, maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 legit stars, that you had to fill it up because it's 30 men and 30 women. And you have to kind of fill out the spots with like surprises, to make it interesting. This time, really the only surprise was Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW. He is now in WWE. He entered the Royal Rumble. He's going by Royce Keys now. So that was the one surprise. And even him, he is a star. So this Royal Rumble was just top to bottom star power, star power, star power. So I really enjoyed it. And of course, your winner was Roman Reigns, your returning tribal chief. He is going back to WrestleMania. I think he is going to face CM Punk because CM Punk, his quote unquote dance card is empty right now. He really doesn't have anybody that he's feuding with. And Drew McIntyre, on the other hand, he's dealing with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. So I think that's going to be a night one. I don't know. Would that be night one or night two? Because night two is the actual main event. I think that might be a night one. No, I think the triple threat, I think that would be night two. Triple threat, I think that's going to be a night two. I think Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Ooh, but Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, that's like, I think they're interchangeable. Anyway, like I said, loaded top to bottom with stars, 1A, 1B. So I'm not even going to speculate right now. I'd be here forever. So, the women's Royal Rumble, it was, there was a lot of room for improvement there. But then again, I gotta, applaud the women because they weren't in their regular gear. If you don't know, the Royal Rumble was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where the women have to be covered from neck to toe. And so they had to wear these special, like, long sleeved, they can't show any skin. So they had to wear these long sleeve suits, all the women. So they kind of had to perform out of their element a little bit. So I got to give them some leeway for that. Okay, that's fair. So that being said, Liv Morgan won the Women's Royal Rumble, and I think she will probably, let's see, probably go after Stephanie Vaquer, because I believe that Jade Cargill is going to end up against Jordynne Grace. So there you go there. All right. Let's get into the news.
The big story of the week was this.
Simone Johnson, aka Ava, aka The Rock's daughter, announced on Friday on Instagram that she has left NXT and the WWE. If you don't know, she is actually the general manager, or was the general manager of NXT on Tuesdays. And she, on Friday, released an Instagram post saying that Tuesday was her last episode of NXT. She said she didn't give a specific reason. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the decision was difficult, and she noted that she is at a quote-unquote turning point in life, in her life. So we wish Ava all the best, or Simone, I should say now. Simone, we wish her all the best, and we'll see what she does in the future. So she made a decision this week, but only one show could be. And what that means is it's time for me to break down the week. As you know, wrestling is on Saturday through Saturday. And to know what's going on in the program, you really just need to watch the last match or the main event. And so that tells you what's going on. So I'm going to break it down Saturday through Saturday and kind of let you know what's going on. So we're going to start off with AEW Collision. That's on Saturdays on TNT at 5 p.m. Pacific time. You had Claudio Castagnoli, who is the CMLL champion, which is the championship in Mexico. That's the Mexican belt. He defended the title against Roderick Strong. It was a pretty clean match. Nothing out of the ordinary or no shenanigans. And that was pretty much that for Collision. And also this past Saturday, we had Saturday night's main event. Now, I can't give, a time and network or whatever. Right now it's going to be on Peacock, and it would air like about either 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It's because it's a special every once in a while kind of thing. It's not a regular thing. But anyway, if you remember Saturday night's main event from back in the day, they had the main event first, and then all the other matches were like mini main events, but the main event was first, and that was Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes. And the match was thrown out because it never even got started. They brawled everywhere. Cody and Jacob just beat the crap out of each other all around the arena. Security was trying to stop them. They were beating up security to get to each other. Finally, Drew McIntyre came out and suckered both of them, threw Jacob onto a table and basically gave Cody a low blow and suplexed him from a rail onto the ground, and that was it. So he kind of helped out security. So I think security's kind of thankful for Drew McIntyre. So, also on the same night, AJ Styles faced Shinsuke Nakamura for the last time. Again, they were rivals in New Japan when AJ was leader of the Bullet Club and Shinsuke was leader of Chaos. So that was cool. One last time, AJ had a match right before coming up on Monday night, which brings us to Monday night, where AJ Styles had a shot at the WWE title versus CM Punk. CM Punk won a hard-fought match. Well, actually, I'm sitting here, I'm wrong. It ended up getting thrown out because Finn Balor attacked CM Punk. So it looks like Finn Balor's kind of going to occupy CM Punk's time until, you know, Roman Reigns comes for the belt. And from what Roman kind of did in the Royal Rumble, kind of made me think he's going back to his evil ways, because what he did was, when he got into the Royal Rumble, it was him and his cousin, Main Event Jey Uso, and he told Main Event Jey Uso to run his music back and so everybody could eat. And as soon as Jey turned his back, Roman suckered him like nothing. So I think Roman may be going back to his old ways. So I think Roman's probably going to be the bad guy in the match. I mean, I hope it's going to be like, you know, one of those good guy versus good guy, who's the more popular one. But we'll see. But anyway, like I said, the match was thrown out because Finn Balor, another former leader of the Bullet Club, the father of the Bullet Club, rest in peace, attacked CM Punk. Now, NXT, Ava's last episode, newcomer Keanu Carver, dude is kind of like if Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis had a baby, that's who Keanu Carver would be. He's brand new, just called up from the minor leagues to the, like, I guess, what is it? It would be like just called from AA to AAA maybe, in baseball, if you're a baseball fan. So he defeated Andre Chase, and he got the last spot in a 6-man ladder match that will determine the new NXT championship that was just vacated by Obafemi. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not going to tell you all the names because I'm not interested in NXT, so I'm not going to tell you all the names of the people who are participating, but some of the names that are notable are Ricky Saints. He's in the match. Of course, Keanu Carver is now in the match. And Joe Hendry, he just came back from being medically cleared to be in the match. So it should be actually a pretty good looking match from the other rookies that I saw that are going to be in it. So that's going to be next Tuesday. Let's see. So, Dynamite. That's Wednesdays on TBS at 5 p.m. You had Andrade El Idolo beating Swerve Strickland, not clean, with a low blow. He's going to face Kenny Omega next week, and the winner of that match is going to go on to Revolution to challenge MJF for the AEW title. Also, a surprise, Mark Briscoe, the TNT champion, put out an open challenge, and guess who answered? The Maniac Psycho, Tommaso Ciampa. That's right, Tommaso Ciampa, who was just in the WWE, is now in AEW. So it's almost like AEW and WWE agreed to a trade. WWE gets Powerhouse Hobbs and AEW gets Tommaso Ciampa, which is pretty crazy because they try to have the wrestlers go through this non-compete period where they have to kind of sit out for months. So, but Champa, Powerhouse Hobbs, now going by Royce Keys, is they just boom, one show to the next. So that's going to be interesting. TNA recently moved to AMC, and that's at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. You had Rich Homie Swan defeating Big AJ Francis, which was kind of cool. They used to be First Class. They broke up, and Rich Swan, I guess, turned to a face. Good guy. Face equals good guy. So Rich Swan is now a good guy defeating AJ Francis. Cool. And then the SmackDown that was before the Royal Rumble came from Riyadh, so that too was early. And that's because of the time difference between Saudi Arabia and America. You had The Vision, which is Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. You had Austin Theory and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn, which resulted in a no contest because, again, Drew McIntyre came and attacked Sami Zayn, who he would be facing at the Royal Rumble, and he ultimately did beat him at the Royal Rumble, but it was a hard-fought match. So, and then The Vision kind of took the opportunity to, beat up on the rest of the guys in the ring. So that was that. So, in my opinion, who is? I am going to give it to Saturday night's main event because it comes around once in a great while. It's kind of like lobster. It's like you have it on special occasions and it delivered. So many good matches on Saturday night's main event. You should probably go watch it. If not, just see the AJ versus Shinsuke match. So when we come back, gonna have Mott Sports West. Check out what you watching and do a little food and travel. All right? Peace.
Has bad credit been holding you back from getting a new car, a house, or a better job? Visit creditrepairfolks.com. They offer one-on-one consulting and will give you a personal roadmap to removing negative items and adding positive points to your credit score. The first consultation is free, and they're the only ones that offer a money-back guarantee. They also have payment plans available. So what are you waiting for? Visit creditrepairfolks.com today.
Our coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked.
That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins.
All right, it's Mott Sports West, where we break down the only three teams in sports that matters, the only teams that are on the West Coast. That's the Rams, Lakers, and Dodgers. Rams, Lakers, and Dodgers. So let's get right into it. Sad for me, Rams lost last week. And it wasn't because they got beat. I'm going to say it again. They beat themselves with special teams, and that's all I want to talk about. The Rams beat themselves with special teams. A lot of people are blaming the defensive coordinator. They're blaming the secondary, this and that, but and saying that we need a change in this and that. I don't think they need a change in personnel. I think they just need to tighten up and focus more on getting their special team situation right. Maybe they can use a DB, maybe, but the defensive coach, that's the defensive coordinator, that's going a bridge too far. So that's all I'm thinking. So hopefully Matthew Stafford comes back next year. It looks like we're gonna get just mostly everybody back, but like every year, playoff teams especially, there's always changes that gets made. The Rams have 3 draft picks, which is okay. I'm cool with that. Oh, and Puka Nacua got a haircut. Lakers. They beat the Wizards on Friday, 142 to 111. Luka Doncic got a triple double, and it was a first half blowout. They're currently ranked number 6 in the West because of some bad losses before this good win. They're waiting the return of Austin Reeves still. He's expected back at any time. This week I heard he's quote unquote 95%, but he wants to wait probably till he's 100% and probably gonna sit out through the All-Star break because the All-Star break is in like a week and a half, I want to say. So he's probably gonna sit out through the All-Star break. Tonight they play the Knicks at 4 o'clock, so we'll be watching. The Dodgers. Dave Roberts, their manager, announced at Dodger Fest that Shohei Ohtani, he will be playing for Japan in the World Baseball Classic, but he will not be pitching. He is saving his pitching arm for this coming season, so that is good news for us Dodger fans. Yeah. So that's it for Mott Sports West. So we'll be watching, hopefully, the World Baseball Classic and Team USA going for the win, but I want to know what you watching. Me, personally, I am in the process of watching Wonder Man. Now, I know all the episodes were released, but I'm going like 2 by 2 because they're only a half hour long. So I'm on the final 2. That'll be my next watch. And I don't know. So far, I'm giving it a I don't know. You got to see it for yourself. It focuses a lot on acting and Hollywood, and which is cool because I like the break from New York. And as far as the Avengers go, I will give you backstory that has nothing to do with spoiling the show. Wonder Man is or was an Avenger, and he was on the West Coast Avengers. For those of you that don't know, that don't read comics, there's actually 2 Avengers teams. There's the Avengers and the West Coast Avengers. And that was Vision, Wonder Man, who else was on the West Coast of it? War Machine. So it's kind of like half the Avengers split up and went out to the West Coast is all that happened. So I won't say it's all that happened because there's a lot more that happened if you actually go back and read the comics, but that's the gist of it. So anywho, like I said, right now, I don't know. But that's hard to digest, but what's not hard to digest is some food. So didn't really travel anywhere but to Jack in the Box, and I tried their new bowls. Jack in the Box has 2 new bowls, a Fiesta bowl, which of course is Mexican, and a teriyaki chicken bowl. You could get them in either crunchy or grilled. I did a review, you can check it out, and my opinion is you could do better. I would still get you're cool with getting the jumbo jack. But I think I gave too much away. So anywho, what I am gonna give away is hopefully that you'll come back next episode, and I might just have a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. So until next week, y'all. Peace.